Some years ago I started writing poetry. First of all, there was children poetry, mostly about animals. I went to cowboy poetry. When it branched into other areas, I was forced to call it just poetry. So I called my collection Prairie Poetry by Fred. I grew up on the Saskatchewan prairie in the 1930s and 40s where the country boys were either cowboys or wanted to be. So to stick to the truth, this poem is called I Never Was Much of a Cowboy. I grew up on the prairie. We raised cows, chicken and hog. I never was much of a cowboy, but I had me a horse and a dog. I'd go to round up the cattle with my horse and my dog and a song. The old mare knew where she was going, and my dog moved the cattle along. I recall how I used to ride broncos. So I'd stay up on top till the last, as long as it didn't start bucking or take off or running too fast. Calf roping was always a mystery to me. It came as easy as rolling a hoop. The only way I ever roped me a calf if it walked up and stuck his head through the loop. So now that I'm old and retired, I brag and tell lies, of course, because I never was much of a cowboy, but I had me a dog and a horse. Anyone who ever lived in the prairie is likely familiar with hunting and hunters, and many have heard them either true or stories, either true or false, of hunting expeditions. This is a poem not true, but maybe similar to some of those stories. The hunters. Jake and Charlie loved to hunt coyote, fox, and deer. Their luck is often bad. It isn't really clear. When whitetail season comes along, they lit out with a grin. The truck was full of fuel, and the guns all sighted in. On a side hill they saw a herd. There could be 8 or 9. We'll drive around that there hill and sneak up from behind. When they were climbing up the hill, a coyote trotted past. Jake forgot just where he was and fired off a blast. The excitement of the moment was the reason, I suppose. He shot a hole in empty air, 6 inches from his nose. Charlie said, "You dad blame fool, you scared the deer away." Jack said, "Oh, we'll see lots of them if we stay out all day." We hunted through some sloughs and brush, found nothing there at all. When Charlie felt the miseries of nature's sudden call, he hunkered down behind a bush where he could do his thing. He looked and saw a coyote drinking at the spring. He jumped and ran to get his gun like he was in a race. His jeans around his ankles, he fell flat on his face. He grabbed his gun and took his 2 shots, but missed that coyote pup and scared away a nice big doe Jake was lining up. They had to change a tire and then busted on a stone. Both of them were grumbling. I should have come along. They loaded up their guns and tools. The sun was going down. Not a word was spoken on the long road back to town. It cheered them up a little when they got that 4-point buck. It was standing in the driveway. They hit it with a truck.